Hi everybody, welcome back. So today I am going to be talking about how I use music to set the tone in my classroom so that kids are in the right mindset when we start working. There are 2 times of the day that I find music is most effective. The first is in the morning. So I teach high school and the school day starts at 7:30, which is super early. And you and I both know that teenagers need a ton of sleep, more sleep actually than their younger siblings and more sleep than adults because of how much they're growing and how much activity they have during the day. So a 7:30 start is really early, and most of them, a lot of my students, before they walk in the door to my classroom, some of them haven't even used their voice yet that day. So I've found over the years that I've been teaching that sometimes that first period class is really, really quiet and no one talks. And I'm sure that many of you have experienced the same thing. And you're eager to get the day started. You've planned your lesson. You're kind of ready to go. You've had your coffee and they're super tired and not ready to talk and their eyes are barely open. So if you have music playing in the background, and most of the time I use classical music, which actually is playing right now, but of course it's like a super quiet moment in the song. I'm going to turn it up as I'm talking. If there's already sound in the room when one of the kids speaks up, no one is actually breaking the silence. There is no silence to break. So, I don't know if you remember what it felt like as a teenager in middle school or high school when the room is really quiet and you suddenly sneeze or you're suddenly the one to shout out an answer and then you realize everyone's looking at you and you feel incredibly awkward. So that doesn't happen in my classroom, especially during that first period class when everybody's super tired, because there is always sound. The music is coming back up. That's a lovely thing about classical music. It gets lower and then the sound is amplified and the tone rises and falls, and you can find that the tone of your class can rise and fall kind of cyclically as the music does. So early in the day. The other time that I find that music makes a big difference is right after lunch. So kids have been sitting with their friends, having a great time. Maybe like 2 weeks ago we had the junior prom, so maybe they're talking about something that happened at prom, or this past weekend. It's getting noisier now. The music is rising. So maybe this past weekend was our spring production of Sleepy Hollow, and so there was a lot of chatter in the hallway about like funny stuff that happened backstage, and so they're talking, they're excited, they just ate, they're filled with energy. But as they walk into sitting down and having conversations with your classmates after that are more focused and structured around academics can be really hard when you've had that break. So I find if the room is filled with music when they walk in, as they kind of walk through the door and break into that space, they immediately feel a different tone, and their mindset changes really just immediately as they walk in the door, just because of the music change. And so they understand that this is a different place, ready for different conversations, and they know to kind of come in and get ready to do what they're going to do in this class. Finally, the last period of the day for me is a really small class, only 16, which is awesome, but they're younger than most of my other classes. Academically, they're not necessarily super focused, and I find that music is a nice way to, when I want them to kind of transition from large group conversations or small group conversations to a few minutes of doing something where they're thinking on their own. If it's quiet, completely quiet in the room, they're really tempted to whisper to one another. But if there's music, like I said before, with the first period class, there's already sound in the room, so they don't feel that awkward silence when I'm suddenly asking them to be quiet. The end of the day is like not the quiet time of the day. So when there's already sound in the room, they're not so worried about having to stay silent when they have all kinds of energy and they're, ready to run out the school door. So most of the time I use classical. I'm going to switch the camera here. I really like using iHeartRadio, and I use the Studying with Classical channel. I've found that I've had really good success with it. The music that comes on is, it's the tone that I like playing in the background right now, if you can hear it. As we get later into the year and the kids get better at understanding the tasks that we're doing and focusing and making the right decisions, I'll let them choose some different channels. Lately I've been playing a channel that's based on like Maroon 5 and Bruno Mars, so it's upbeat but it's not like crazy loud. There's no you know, it's a genre that most kids are okay with. I'll catch them kind of singing to themselves as they're working, and that's fine as long as the singing isn't distracting them from their task. I try not to choose music genres that people have super strong opinions on, so I try not to choose like country or rap. Here in the Northeast, that kind of pop genre is across the board. It's okay for all the kids, so they're cool with it. So that's it. That's how I use music in the classroom. I really feel like it sets the tone without me having to set rules or call people out for being too loud or too quiet. It brings the tone to the classroom that I'm looking for when we're ready to learn. So that's it, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on Periscope again. Thanks so much for watching.